What's going on, people? This is your boy Lou. This is Wrestling 2 101 coming at you with a review of TNA Impact Bound for Glory that just happened on October 16th, 2011, which was yesterday. Got home from work this morning, had recorded the pay-per-view via DVR, watched it, giving my review of it now. Leave your thoughts and your comments down below, what you guys saw of the show and whatnot. If you agree or disagree with me, you know what it is. Hit the subscribe button if you already have not. Alright, the first match on this card kind of puzzled me a little bit. I think it should have been higher up on the card, but it wasn't. Nevertheless, the pay-per-view has passed. I'm not the one that booked it, so, I'm not going to get my way. But no one is, so there we go. But overall, the match itself was decent, and that being the X Division title match between Brian Kendrick and the reigning champion Austin Aries, who is still the X Division champion. Brian Kendrick did not win. I do not like Brian Kendrick's character. I hate what they've done with him. He, in my opinion, with the exception that he tagged with Paul London in WWE, he's really never done anything special. He got booed out the building. I mean, he's really not that. He's really not anything special. I'm sorry, people. He's really not. Austin Aries retains. The match could have been longer. It should have been higher up on the card, but the match was good, and the right person went over, and they actually booked this match prior to the show, so we knew it was going to happen. So that's the good and the bad on the first segment of the show. Alright, the second segment, I really can't say anything good about it. I don't know why the hell they aired this. I didn't want to pay for this bullshit. Alright, why the hell would you have Tracy Brooks, or whatever the fuck her name is, backstage, alright, playing with Karen Jarrett's kids, and you have Karen Jarrett come in, have the kids leave, and then, don't play with my kids, don't talk to my kids, and all this bullshit. Alright, just goes on a rampage of just calling basically the whole entire Knockouts division a bunch of whores and prostitutes, and then just showing off her referee ring attire that she's going to wear to the ring. So that was basically the point of the segment. Basically, it was just to bash all the women's wrestlers in the company and to show off her referee ring attire. Joy. Okay, on the third segment, there's good to this segment, there's bad to this segment. I'm going to try to run through it. Before the segment, though, we get a video package. And my first problem with this video package in the next segment is that if the second segment was a segment for the Knockouts, why wasn't the Knockouts match next? I'm just saying. Granted, the segment shouldn't have been there. Karen should not have been on my TV, but that's different. Regardless, we had a video package for Jerry Lynn and Rob Van Dam. Then we had the Full Metal Mayhem match between them. I'll say the match was good. It was short, just like the first match. It was short. Could have been longer, but it was entertaining. I like the ending. Very nostalgic pop for me at the end when RVD hit the Van Daminator, not the Van Terminator, Taz, on Jerry Lynn, and he had the ladder on Jerry Lynn stacked up in the corner, and he used the chair. That was pretty cool, so that was hot. Good finish, but once again, all this was a nostalgic pop, and it was just to get the fans in Philly to roar, because it's two guys that they remember that used to be able to put on a great show, a lot better than the show they put on last night. I'm not saying the match was horrible, but I enjoyed the match, but the only reason this match was on the card is they had nothing for either of them to do, and they knew that they put these two guys together because they're two ECW originals. They'll get some ECW nostalgic pop, and they'll get the crowd to liven up a little bit. Shame. That is not how you work a crowd. I am sorry. ECW died a long time ago. Get with the TNA. And before I forget, last thing in this third segment, if Jerry Lynn is a heel and Rob Van Dam is a face, why are they shaking hands? Somebody emphasize on that for me, please. Alright, in the fourth segment of this show, we have a triple threat match, which to me seemed more or less for the majority of it like a 2-on-1 handicap match, which was Crimson and Matt Morgan and Samoa Joe. Now, Matt Morgan and Crimson at the beginning of this match basically just dominated over Joe, taking turns and whatnot. Eventually, Joe really picked up the pace of this match, and the match itself started to get really good. I was really into the match. I liked it. The crowd was into it a little bit, just like the rest of the matches. They were into them, but just not like, in an uproar. But they were booing the crap out of Crimson and Matt Morgan, they were all behind Joe. They were all for Joe. I was for Joe. And that might just be like a little bit of a smart mark in me, but why did Joe not go over here? Or this may be the smart mark in me, but why did Joe not go over here? I don't understand. Okay, mark out moment for me. You know, Joe got a huge pop from a crowd. You know, that made me mark out. You know, but it's why didn't he win? Like, I understand you don't want to have Crimson lose his winning streak, so why don't you have him pin Matt Morgan? Alright, why not? They're all three of those guys are viable main eventers in the near future, so why the hell did you have the one who needs it the most get pinned by the guy that least needs it the most? Sorry about my grammar here, people. I just don't want to retake this shot again. So the match was good. It could have went longer. I just think the wrong person went over. It should have been Joe, all right, or it should have been Morgan. I don't think Crimson needed it as much. As long as Crimson didn't get pinned, I would have been okay with Joe winning or Matt Morgan winning. I would have been fine with that. More over Joe than Matt Morgan, because I think Joe needs more of the push than Matt Morgan does now. But they were giving Matt Morgan a push prior in the Bound for Glory series as well, so if he got that push started again here, I wouldn't have complained. Alright, in the fifth segment of this show, you have Bully Ray basically cut a promo backstage, getting Philly to hate him and whatnot, just bash him. He's from Hell's Kitchen, New York, and all this shit, so trying to get the crowd to really hate him and whatnot. He went out there and he got booed, but Anderson versus Bully Ray, you have Anderson go over here. It looked nasty at the end. It really looked bad. Anderson overwent a senton bomb. He had Bully Ray on the table on the outside. That looked nasty. It looks like he barely even hit the table. The table didn't break. Bully Ray barely moved. But he did recover real quick from the botch, and he did do a mic check through the table on the outside just to recover, so this wasn't a complete loss of shit. But other than that, once again, it's an ECW nostalgic pop, because you have, Bubba Ray here, Bully Ray, whatever you want to call him. But the match itself, once again, for having weapons and everything in it, it's entertaining. It was a good match. Bully Ray, I always think, goes out there and tells a good story when he goes out there in the ring anyway. So, yeah, so I thought it was a decent match. But once again, I just think he was there just because of the cheap nostalgic pop. So, there you go. Oh, and by the way, if we can get more of those, someone just doing the Anderson impression and grabbing the mic thing like Bully Ray did, and then having Anderson come back and basically beat his ass and shit, I would like that. That was freaking funny. Alright, in the sixth segment of this show, Eric Bischoff apparently is the father of Jackson James, which is one of the referees, and he's been doing work for Eric Bischoff and all this shit. Okay, that's enlightening news. Interesting. They couldn't have saved this segment for, I don't know, Impact Thursday prior to Bound for Glory? Just saying? Maybe? Alright, seventh segment of this show. What can I say? What the fuck? The four-way knockouts title match. It's a fatal four-way basically. So why were they tagging in and out for one? The crowd was booing for number 2. The match sucked for number 3. Number 4, Madison Rayne and Velvet Sky were in it. And number 5, Velvet Sky is now the TNA Knockouts champion. Winner should have retained the title here. This is so stupid. Winner is such a great wrestler. She's a great talent. They got this whole gimmick behind her. She's got Angelina Love backing her. You gave her the belt. You took it away from her. You gave it to her again for a couple of weeks again. Now you're taking it from her again? What is this? Just to push Velvet Sky, this girl with fake boobs, just going to come to the ring and shake her ass so men like it, so you can hope that people like her. And because she cries and complains about the fact that, nobody likes Peter, but people forget that she was a bitch before. She was nothing but a bitch Remember her and Angelina, the original Beautiful People? I'm just saying. Anybody remember that? Alright, in the 8th segment of the show, Kaz gets a backstage interview. On pay-per-view, why? Couldn't you just did this on, I don't know, Impact? The prior Impact to the pay-per-view? I'm just saying. After this, we get the AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels video package going into their match, which is the 9th segment of the night, being Daniels versus Styles. The worst I Quit match I have ever seen, by any means necessary. Daniels just gave up for nothing. AJ picked up a screwdriver and he just quit. Like, he wasn't even near him. He just quit. And he ran off like a pansy. It's not like he didn't have any energy left, so it's like he assaulted him as, you know, Daniels assaulted AJ when AJ was going up the ramp after he'd won and all that shit. His back turned, cheering, turned to the fans so they could cheer for him and all that shit. And just further moving on this feud, just keeping AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels buried with each other together in matches, which are just continuing to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And none of this is helping their careers. I'm just saying. Alright, the next segment basically involved Jeff Jarrett, which God knows why he's on pay-per-view. I don't want to pay to see him. Waste of airtime. And with other things on this show, like certain backstage segments and skits and certain videos that were not necessary, we could have had longer matches. But this particular segment really pissed me off because all it did was showcase him and Jeff drug addict Hardy. If you want to be a drug addict, fine. Don't do it on the show. Look sober, I guess. But is he really? Who knows? Is he going to hurt someone else if he comes back and he's all drugged up? My point here is, though, if you were going to do this and you want to give him this build back and you're trying to give him this second chance, why did you have to give the opening segment of it at Bound for Glory? Why is his first feud starting at Bound for Glory? Why didn't you start it, I don't know, on an Impact where everyone will see it? Because not everybody bought the goddamn show or seen the goddamn show. Learn a book! You know, I told you guys that it was going to happen. I don't know if anybody believed me. I was saying it for months. And it happened. Haha. You know, I gotta admit something real quick, because I know a lot of you who at least watch my videos. I know I don't get that many views anymore. I stopped making videos for a while just because I was sick and I was going through a lot of time. So hope I get my viewers back. For those of you that do or don't know, or especially for that don't, I am not the hugest Hulk Hogan fan nor the hugest Sting fan anymore. I have not been for a set amount of years now. And I haven't been a fan of neither since the end of WCW, to be honest with you. And I think anything they've done afterwards is just bullshit. Their careers should have ended there. That was their prime. They've been done since. Even though I hate what Hulk Hogan has came and done with TNA for the majority, and hasn't really improved anything, when his music hit for their match, for Sting vs. Hogan at Bound for Glory, I marked out like nobody else. Oh, man. That's that stupid smart mark in me right now, kicking me in the face, telling me that I'm a fucking dumb fuck for letting the little, you know, kitty fan of me come out and mark out for Hulk Hogan. Oh man, it was awesome. He generated. Oh. I don't know. I said this before, but I don't emphasize this enough in the past. For me, it's all about the crowd in a match. You can have two guys going out there fighting with staplers, you know, tables and broomsticks, okay, and they can't do anything but hit each other with those objects. I would be just fine with that, as long as the crowd was as loud as they were for Hogan. That crowd was on their feet chanting the entire time. The match was very short. Hogan took 3 bumps, and he got a couple of punches off. And when he took them 3 bumps, yo, I'm like, my body's shaking, you know what I'm saying, for real, because I was like, God, he's gonna get hurt, he's gonna get hurt. You know, I was worried, you know what I'm saying, because I respect the man, even though I hate him, you know, for being around and still being a character on the show, because I think he needs to go away. I still respect the man for what he's done, and I still, you know, in that sense, didn't want to see him get hurt. And I was having such a mark out moment and not wanting him to get hurt. Every time he took a bump, it was like, you know, but, you know, thank God, you know, at the end of the match, he walked away from it. Thank God. He ended up a face by the end of the match, which, in my opinion, I thought was great. It's kind of a clusterfuck, really, but it was awesome. Okay, he turned on Immortal. It was for nothing. You know, you have, you know, the referee Eric Bischoff's new announced son and whatnot being the ref for this match, and you know, eventually Sting gets Hogan in the Scorpion Deathlock, and you know, there's no one to help Hogan get out of it, so eventually the ref just calls for the bell. Eric Bischoff and Mr. Immortal come out, and they knock out the ref with the chair, you know, and they start beating up Sting and all this, and Sting's calling up to Hogan. He's like, help me, help me. And then Hogan just honks, brother. You know, and just goes off on this, he just decimates like Hulk Hogan can. It's oh my god. It was freaking great. Mark out moment. And you know what? If I would have made a predictions video for this, I would have predicted that the last match in this card would have been this match, and you know, this match would have been the main event. If this would have been the main event, I would have been very happy. But it was not. Now things have to get said. We get a video package for the Bobby Roode versus Kurt Angle feud. Get to the match. Once again, the match is short. It's a good match. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining the time it lasted. I think it was very fast. I think they rushed it way too much. Once again, other segments should have been cut from this show. Certain video packages should have been cut that were not necessary. I don't understand. I don't get it. You know, you have Bobby Roode win the BFG series, fake it, you know, not the kayfabe injury, come back, and I called it. He was going to be main eventing Bound for Glory. I called that shit, and he did. He main evented Bound for Glory, and I predicted, you know, for him to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Especially when I heard, you know, when Kurt Angle became champion, we knew it was going to be Kurt Angle versus Bobby Roode. It was like, what a way for, you know, Bobby Roode to go over. Oh man, I don't know what to say. They made the BFG series seem like it meant nothing because the winner didn't win. No one new was developed at this pay-per-view. No new stars were made. You know, there was, especially in this match, all it did was hurt him. You know, he went through all of Fortune. He went through the BFG series. He went through all the bullshit with Angle and all this crap. And 13 years. 13 years. He deserved it. You know, I like Kurt Angle, you know, but I can't mark out for Angle here at all. You know, he's a veteran. I respect him for what he's done because he's, you know, put on a lot of great matches and whatnot, but I don't see why the creative writing staff decided to go this direction, especially since Vince Russo's not the head writer. It's Bruce Pritchard now, so I'm kind of confused. But whatever, it's what it is. There's no point in getting upset about it at this point because it's past. I've already ranted enough in this video, and it was such a huge letdown for me right there that I can't even sit here and scream about it. So sad, so stupid. What did you guys think of the show, really? Let me know. Alright, people, my grade is a D. I give it a D, and I know a lot of people are probably going to say, well, what the hell, why'd you give it a D? Even though you liked it. You said you liked a lot of the matches on the card. And I did. I enjoyed the matches. I may have not enjoyed all the booking of the matches, but I enjoyed the matches themselves. I think some of the wrong people went over. I've already went over this. Hulk Hogan does not save the show for me. Alright? It does not. Hulk Hogan ruined the show for me. I loved it. It was a mark-out moment, I'm not going to lie. It was great. It was a great feeling. The crowd was behind him. I got behind him. It was awesome. I could feel the Hulkamania's power, man. I swear to God, it was great. But there's a problem with it. There's a problem. It made everything else on the card seem like it didn't mean nothing. Everything else on the card seemed worthless after that. The crowd wasn't into everything else like they were into Hogan. Hogan is such a huge influence to the crowd, okay? He came in as a heel and people were cheering for him, okay? He knows how to work a crowd in and out of the ring. He knows what he's doing. He's a genius. And his genius killed the rest of the show for me, because after hearing that crowd in that particular match, the crowd through the rest of the show just didn't benefit the matches and put the story to the matches that they really needed. And I am sorry, people. You can call this a mark-out moment if you want, but Hogan and Sting was the best segment on this card. I'm sorry. I mean, you could bash me all you want. I really don't care. That's fine. But the crowd was so loud. It was amazing. I haven't heard a crowd like that and oh my God. It takes me back. It takes me back. To see Hogan in the ring take a couple of bumps, and it scared me to death he was going to get hurt, like I said before, but just to have him in the ring that one last time, him becoming face, and they were behind him the whole time, and I was behind him going into this, you know, the second his music hit, I got behind him. I don't know what happened. My whole mood changed at that point. I kind of knew it was going to happen. I didn't want it to happen. I knew it was. But unfortunately, in my eyes, because that happened, it took away from the fact that that part of the show meant more to me than anything else in the show. And for that reason, the show gets a D. Let me know what you people think. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you think my opinion is garbage? Do you think the show deserves a better grade than I gave it? Let me know. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Peace.